The Matthew Livensberger suicide. What is the connection to aliens and UFOs? Coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Encounters USA. This is very tragic to even have to do this podcast, and my heartfelt condolences go out to Matthew Livensberger's family and to his child, and what a tragic loss this is. Why did such a wonderful person as this guy have to go and do this? But we unfortunately have to deal with this because he made some allegations about these drones, and we do aliens, Bigfoot and Dogman. And so with what is going on now, I cannot possibly let this just sit and not go over some of these alleged things that he has said or has allegedly said. So let's get to that right now. All right. The first thing that we need to focus on is, of course, this email that he supposedly sent. And I'm going to very quickly just draw your attention. If you haven't seen the Sean Ryan podcast and all this other stuff that's been going on, then you need to look at that. But for this podcast and for this video, I am just going to cover what covers aliens, the alien connection. And so if you have seen the email that he sent supposedly, then you will see that he says that the drones are from China and that it is a no-win situation. So let me explain that very quickly. Now, to be a no-win situation means that these are not, the word drones, let's forget that. It's UFOs. These UFOs, these alien craft, human engineered, but alien craft, or not, just maybe all 100% alien, these things can move from here to there almost instantaneously, as we've seen. So what he's trying to say, and we're going to talk about whether or not he even said this, but what he's trying to say is that if you're able to move a whole army instantaneously almost to a location, how do you defend against that? You know, if you're able to move a whole population almost instantaneously, how do you defend against that? Then there's the weapons, the lasers, et cetera, et cetera. How do you defend against those? So there's a lot of things that he was talking about that, you know, you don't have to be some genius to know about. When they're talking about the anti-gravity stuff, anti-gravitics, what they're talking about is in my book, Deceptions of the Ages. And if you look in the part about UFOs and aliens and alien technology, I talk about how we've discovered that based on like the Vimanas of Indian ancient Indian literature, the Vedas, that these craft operate by circulating liquid mercury. And it's a very simple process. I've done a number of podcasts with people that we've talked about this. And so when these people on the Sean Ryan show are saying, I don't know what they're talking about, this anti-gravitic stuff, I don't know what it is, and then saying you can Google it and it's just theoretical. It's not. Because in my book, Deceptions of the Ages, I specifically pointed out that there was a professor that was, she worked at MIT and then suddenly disappeared. I think her name was Ming Lee. And I'm sorry if I don't have that right, but I think her name was Ming Lee, and she suddenly disappeared. And she had been working on anti-gravitics, and everybody said she went to work for the government, for whoever, whatever black project, DARPA, whatever. But she just basically disappeared from the face of the earth. So for them to say that this is just some fantasy thing or whatever, that is absolutely not true. And I have to point that out, that is technology that we definitely know about and we definitely have, and she was definitely working on. So, and if you want to know more about that, then read my book, Deceptions of the Ages. Just a little plug there, I guess. But the next thing that I want to talk to you about is um, what if he didn't? What if he didn't write that part? Because that email has two very specific parts, and I know he sent his these other documents, and I don't care about those because those don't cover the alien, question, the drone question, or the UFO question. And I want to talk about that because, as you've probably seen if you've been watching this, this is obviously a photograph, a screenshot of somebody who was editing a Word document. And this is not an email because you wouldn't have the squiggly lines on an email. If you're composing an email or if you were sending it into an email, that has to be a screenshot. So if that is a screenshot, you also have the space above on the where the address bar is, where there should not be a space. And then finally, the whole subject matter of the aliens and the UFOs. Is this just something that they're trying to just throw in there? Just because they want to, here's a guy that committed suicide, and let's just throw everything into this basket, and then we can say, oh, those drones are the Chinese. When clearly it has been said that the drones are not all of them could be the Chinese. And he made the statement that there were dozens of these balloons monitoring the U.S. And I have seen credible people say that that was absolutely not true. So was that entire statement inserted into this document because a guy wanted to report on a bunch of people that innocent civilians he'd seen killed? So they're trying to throw this drone thing in just the cheapest, most, I hate to say FBI way, and I do hate to be political on this show, but we've seen everything the FBI has done over the years, and nobody would put that past them to try to insert this into a document of a guy that has committed suicide or allegedly, and can't defend himself. But it really does look like these things have nothing in common, and that the drone thing is more about trying to explain away what the drones are doing here. And if it was the Chinese and the U.S. government was letting them do this with no opposition whatsoever, well, that would be a big, huge problem. And the U.S. government says they have no idea who these drones are. So with that, I just want to say that as far as this drone issue, the UFO issue, I think that was just inserted in there. And unless somebody can prove it to me otherwise, I think this is really about war crimes. And I think they're really trying to cover up and make somebody look kind of, I don't know, let's just say muddy the water. But I really think that somebody's just trying to, as they're trying to do, is say that he's, got PTSD, et cetera, when they don't know anything about it. When the last thing the U.S. Army said, this guy was in good standing. He was a good dude. So on Encounters USA, we respect our veterans. I'm a veteran. I went through the same Q course that they went through at the Special Warfare Center in Fort Bragg. And I feel for the family, and if there's anything I can do to help support him, and I would encourage all Americans, look at what he said. Look at all you veterans. Look at what he said. I ran for office just because of what this guy's saying, because this country, we've got to save it. And I hate to say that on Encounters USA, but it is Encounters USA. And if we don't save it, it'll just be Encounters. So, yes, it's an unfortunate tragedy. And unfortunately, because they are dealing in the realm and talking about these UFOs that are, circling the world now and just doing all kinds of bizarre things, I had to cover it and I had to throw in what I thought was the truth. So, if you are looking for aliens, Bigfoot, or Dogman, or if you are out there trying to save America, always watch your back.